Dan Furigal, who is an actor known for many things. One of the coolest is Spartacus because you get to check out his sexy body in it. So please watch it or follow his Instagram because you'll see all of that as well.
Yes.
Welcome, Dan.
Thank you very much for having me. It's good to see you again. It's been a while.
You're an Australian actor who moved to
Yes.
LA to pursue the big dream.
Yes. To
Well,
go
wait, but
after
wait,
my
wait.
dreams.
You started first doing home and away stuff in Australia.
I did. I did. So I followed the Chris Hemsworth path. Started acting when I was like 18. I went to acting school here in Brisbane, moved down to Sydney after that, and I did a number of Australian shows. And Home and Away is probably the most known. I think I did like 10 episodes where I was playing an evil newspaper editor.
An evil.
An
I
evil
think
newspaper
I've
editor.
seen this on your reel. Yes.
Yes, I put that
Very
on there. I
yes.
definitely put that on there.
Yeah.
I think I put it on my Instagram of like, because I did Spartacus with Todd Lasance, and he was on Home and Away as well. So I was on Home and Away with him when he was like super young and I was a little bit older. And that is just, it's just hilarious. But in Australia, Home and Away and Neighbours, I don't know if you've heard of Neighbours, but they're the two kind of teen soap opera kind of shows that are running. They've been running since the 80s. And pretty
Yeah,
much
like Guiding Light and like All My Children and
yeah.
yeah.
And but basically like every single actor in Australia has been on one of those shows, depending on where you live in Australia, because it's the only show that's consistently going. So if there's nothing happening, people just try and go
Or it's
on
like
Home and Away.
the Law and Order also.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like every actor's
basically.
kind
Yeah,
of been through there. Yeah.
yeah, definitely. I've played a lot of bad guy roles.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I think
Yours was awesome in well, you're wearing a suit and you're super
oh
dapper.
NCIS.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
NCIS. Yeah.
Super.
Yeah, I was playing. It was kind of funny. So for that audition, and obviously you know all about this stuff. So NCIS, the way they do it is super quick. You get it generally the night before. You go in the next like afternoon maybe, or even the morning, depending on how things are going. And everybody's in a waiting room. There's like 10, 15 people, and it's literally a cattle call. You go into this tiny little room with about 10 executives in there. And the reader goes, "Hey, I'm reading with you." And you go, "Okay," and then go. You do it. You do it. You do it. Thank you. You do it. You do it. You do it. Thank you. And then you get out of there. So it's like literally like, boom, you go in, they leave. Boom, you go in, leave. So in this time, the character, the breakdown of the character, they said European accent, and I'm like, what does that mean?
The fuck? Yeah.
So because this guy was like an evil character, and for some reason now every evil character in American shows are Russian, or like Eastern European or something like that. I tried to do a Russian accent and it was terrible. I didn't have enough time to work on it. So about a minute before I went in, I just switched to like
British.
evil posh character, evil British character, because I'd done that before.
Yeah.
And I got it. So
Oh, so good.
yeah,
So good.
yeah.
How did Spartacus come about? That's a freaking exciting gig to book.
Yeah, it was, and that one completely came out of the blue. So I initially auditioned for one of the earlier characters, Crixus, when I first started, when it first came out, and obviously that didn't go my way. And then several, maybe like 4 or 5 months later, I auditioned for one of the brothers, the German brothers that I ended up eventually getting. They wanted us to do a German accent and then a neutral accent. And we were auditioning for both roles, but just with one, I think 2 scenes. And so, you know, in Australia, I don't know what it's like now because I haven't been here for a while, but in Australia, you get a lot of time to work on something. So I had a whole week to work on this one.
Whoa!
Yeah, I know.
Guys, usually we get an audition today and it's due to, and we have to show up tomorrow knowing all the lines, having worked on whatever accent they want. Usually it's like
Yep.
next day, maybe 2 days, but like a week is like,
I know I was like, whoa, hello. And so I went to a friend who was German, and he helped me with the accent and everything like that. And so I went in there, did it. And then about, I think 3 weeks later, I was doing my my survival job at JB Hi-Fi, which is the equivalent of like a Best Buy and Amoeba Records, like, you know, DVDs and all that sort of stuff and things like
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
So I was working
yeah.
there, and I had a missed call from my agent. So I ran up to the toilet and like, hey, how you going? What's going on? And they told me that I booked it. And I was like, whoa. And then it just became so much bigger than what was initially kind of written down on the breakdown. So
Yeah.
it
So
was awesome. And
originally, was it a character that just had like a few episodes? Did you know it was recurring? Did you know what it?
I knew it was recurring, but they didn't really give too much away. I think it was starting to get to that point, you know, when television shows and movies just wouldn't tell the actor anything. So when you go to prepare for a role, they're like, "Here you go," and you're like, "Well,
These are
what?"
sides that we've made up for this
Yeah,
character. It's probably not even what you're actually gonna do. The
yeah.
character sort of in the same vein, but it's not really what you're seeing in the script that we sent you.
Yeah, absolutely. And
Yeah.
also as well, you don't know which direction to take it because they don't give you any backstory. They don't give you any of this. So it's up to your interpretation of it. And then if
Mhm.
your interpretation is wrong, they're like, well, this person can't get it.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but then again, every now and then somebody's interpretation is completely different to what the creative people want, but they
Yeah.
really like it, so they bring you in.
Were you as buff when you started on this show, or do they train you like crazy? I've always wondered how that goes down.
Yeah, I was not as buff. I was a struggling actor in Sydney. So when I got there, I was about halfway through filming, so I didn't do the boot camp or anything like that. So I just worked out myself in my own spare time. So I had a lot of spare time because I was a recurring role on there, but I wasn't part of the super main cast
Yeah,
yet.
yeah.
And so I just got super big then. But then the subsequent years, we did like a month boot camp, which was about 4 hours a day, 5 days a week. And that sucked by the end.
Crap. You also represent the LGBT community.
Yes, I do. Yeah.
I'm sure you have a lot of fans that thank you for you know.
Yeah, that's been the nicest thing about it all is because you're unaware of, I mean, at least at that particular time, I was unaware of the the impact it would have. And my initial thoughts when I was going into it was just, I'm just gonna play this like just a character in this world who just happened to like guys.
Yeah.
And that's how I approached it. There wasn't any, and you also, I also have to give kudos to the team, the producers and directors and all that sort of stuff, and the writers, because this was the world that existed, and all these different sexualities existed, and that was it.
Yeah.
They didn't make any there was no like, this is the gay character, you know, this here. There was none of that. This is the
straight character.
Yeah, this is the straight character. It was just, and everybody was accepting of it in the world. And so that was the cool thing about it. So I think that's why a lot of people really, really liked the show in regards to that representation. And we lived, which apparently was very rare at the time.
What was your favorite character to play? Of all the things you've done, is that like one of the...
Yeah, I would have to say Agron was my favorite, and that's because I just got to expand on it the whole time. It wasn't just a guest role where you come in and you do the most cliched of things because that's what they want on this particular show. That would have to be the favorite because he had this massive story arc. He was this, he was that. So that was probably my most favorite role. And then after that was my Chicago Fire role where I was a military guy. And that was a lot of fun too. So,
guys, check that out. I want to talk about, that was terrible, your Aussie sketch comedy character who has tried cooking with a lot of alcohol, who makes messes, who doesn't know how to hold a baby properly, who wears a funny little hat. Tell me all about this, because I think
okay. So this all just sprung out of. So I called it bloke from Australia. Bloke from Australia. Yeah. And this just I can't remember how it started, but it definitely came out of quarantine. and the pandemic, because I just wanted to, yeah, I just wanted to be creative. I wanted to do something. I wanted to do funny things on Instagram. And so I just thought of, oh, you know, somebody many years ago during the Spartacus period said, oh, you should do a cooking show, but do it naked. And then I thought, oh, what's a fun, stupid way to, you know, do a cooking show or something like that. And I thought, oh, why don't I just completely ham up the Australian accent and play what we call a bogan or an ochre Australian character. And is it
like somebody who lives in the country?
Yeah,
far away from civilization?
I guess it's the equivalent of what you would say, I guess, redneck or something like that.
Yeah. Can you tell us how he talks? Like, explain the situation as
okay.
him.
So I just g'day guys, how you going? My name's g'day guys, how you going? I'm a bloke from Australia and I'm going to show you how to bake some bread. So I just kind of play that kind of character. You know, g'day guys, I'm on Carolina's live Twitch streams. You should get on there and have a watch because it's going to be fucking awesome.
The biggest project on your slate right now.
That's right.
Right.
Let's do this, Carolina. Let's fucking do this.
Before we show a little trailer for it, we wanted to share to you what you're doing. And I'm guessing this also came out of pandemic because we're all reinventing new creative ways to create. So what is it before we see the trailer and don't know what's happening? Give us a little clip of a little explanation.
So it's a graphic novel that I've created. It came out of this silly mind of mine. It's about a detective named Sebastian Vitro who is able to tap into the quantum realm. And so what we see is when really horrible things happen, that moment in time can fracture and become a shard, like a fractured shard. And he's able to see that shard, which kind of gives different views of perspectives and things like that he's able to see, and he's able to use that power to solve crimes and things like that. But it starts to get like a lot deeper and this and that in regards to the quantum realm. And
let's watch a little what'd you call it, a trailer?
Trailer that my brother made for me.
Rolling.
My name is Detective Sebastian Vitro of the District Major Crimes Unit. And I see things.
Where are we going?
Horrible things.
You'll see.
When a moment in time fractures, a shard can avenge a life.
Dude, that is so exciting.
Also got a bit of a giveaway kind of a thing going on where you can win a PlayStation 5 and a Cyberpunk 2077 video game.
Wait, what? Say that again?
Yes.
I have gamers in the house. They might
that
be
is
interested
correct.
in this.
So basically, if you go to my Instagram, or you can go to my Facebook page, or you go to the Fractured Shards Facebook page, there's a link in my bio where you can click on it, and then you've got all these tasks, kind of similar to what you posted in regards to your chair. So the more tasks that they complete, the more entries they have into this particular thing. And it's like following me on Instagram, it's joining a mailing list, doing all that sort of stuff. But in order for that to become active, we have to reach 25,000 or more. So like it's I'm really proud of the graphic novel that we got so far. We've got the first 8 pages on the Kickstarter, so you can check out the tone and the vibe of what we're going with.
Yeah.
And the more money we raise, the more we can get to you. And I think that's incentive enough. If you love cyberpunk, if you love dystopian stuff, if you love like dread and all that sort of stuff, then you'll love this kind of stuff.
Would you like to boop the viewers right now? Because that's what
I would.
Just go ahead. You're supposed to say boop.
There
we go. Oh, I didn't hear you when you said it. It didn't come through. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. And keep booming and booping.
Absolutely.